Hey, hey, hey. I hope you guys enjoy these, what I'm calling podcast shorts for my Burnout to All Out community. This is just a little peek behind the curtain of the coaching that goes on inside of my programs. We're bringing to you some of the best nuggets and coaching I'm giving within hot seats of all of our different programs, whether it's our LinkedIn Method Academy, our mini mastermind business basics, all the way up to our higher level mastermind. If you're hearing some of these questions and you're like, man, I wish I could get my burning question answered by Melissa. Hey, guess what? You could be featured on my podcast. If you've got a question that you want answered and you submit it to my team and we pick it, we will bring you here to the podcast for our podcast shorts and do a hot seat with you. Where can you submit your questions? Send them to teamburnouttooallout.co. We'll make sure we drop that in the show notes for our podcast shorts. And I hope that you guys find as much value in these shorts as our clients do inside the program. Need some effective tactical advice that actually helps you get results and makes a real difference in your life and business? You've come to the right place. If you're finding yourself here today, it means you're getting ready to gain serious traction in your business, rapidly multiply your income and impact, and you're ready to make it happen while living all out. Guys, I'm Melissa Henault, your trustworthy corporate dropout turned six-figure business burnout turned happy and healthy CEO of a multi-million-dollar online business. And you're listening to the Burnout to All Out podcast. On this show, we're serving up innovative growth strategies, simple implementation methods to put them into practice, and action-stimulating inspiration tailored specifically for the modern entrepreneur. Let's dive in. Is Laura Ludwin. There she is. Hi, friend.
Hi, how are you?
So good. How are you?
Good, great. Thank you. I was going to ask you before, I'm the personal branding website and with the templates and such. So my content has been about personal branding because at first, just to get a presence on LinkedIn, I wanted to first talk about what personal branding is. And I feel like right now it's like a hot topic, but the content and such, it was just what's the importance of having personal branding. And now I think I need to show more of the web design because that's what I do. My question to you is how much do you think, because often with web design and websites, that's all anyone ever shows. Do you feel like it's still relevant to have just personal branding topics woven into the content as well?
You're talking about actually doing some education around why a website is important for personal branding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you're still working through the unconsciously incompetent, like they don't know yet that it really is of value, trying to explain to them the value. Yeah. I think the key is in your messaging, regardless of the what that you're showing, is the impact, the ROI, the bigger picture of why they need this website. It's one thing to show them kind of the widget. For you, it's the website. But what you really want to be doing is telling a compelling story of why the website is so important. Think about this. We teach how to build your brand presence on LinkedIn. But what you don't see in my marketing is I'm not typically going really down into the weeds of like we run workshops, we do things where we're bringing value and we're teaching people the tools and how to do the thing. But what also needs to be balanced with that is the messaging of the desired result.
And I have kind of talked about having an online presence and what having an online presence achieve, what you will achieve with it.
So I guess where I'm going with this is when you're doing kind of the visualization of the website and the back end, even in that same piece of content, you want to like dovetail into that why it's important. What's the impact of this website?
Exactly. Okay.
Imagine you're networking. I'm putting myself in some working professional shoes. Imagine you're at an airport and you randomly sit beside a guy who runs a company that is wildly fascinating to you. And it's actually like an incredible opportunity. I'm just kind of like throwing this out here, but what do you have to differentiate yourself? How do they experience you beyond just the company you work for today? Like telling that story along with sharing that website. I guess that's where I was going.
Okay, that makes sense. So you have the bullet points of what it will do for you. Like you have an online presence and you can essentially shape of how you would like to share who you are and such and have a full picture of who you are. But that's a good idea to have essentially how that would fit into their life or when they would use it.
Because what does an online presence mean to them? And to me, I think you could study your avatar. I think there's a couple of different types. And I don't know if you're fully focusing 100% on employees who are never going to leave, but that's like one buyer persona who's educating them on the value of having a personal brand beyond their company and emphasizing whatever the data is out there of what's the turnover and ascension rate of people leaving companies and going to the next. And how are you defining yourself beyond your company to grow your network and your personal brand? That's a whole thing. Then you have another cohort of dreamers in corporate who dream of not just being in corporate, but taking a pivot and being a consultant, maybe leaving corporate and then consulting back. And even for those folks, I feel like especially could be even a target audience of like building that personal brand beyond the company. If you feel like you're screaming into the void when you post content on Facebook or Instagram, struggling to find a sustainable and scalable lead generation process that sticks, and you just want someone who's been there and done that to reveal their secrets, then it's critical that you register to save your spot ASAP. During this live masterclass, you'll get to steal the exact strategy I used to scale my income from $0 to 1 million in just 19 months without spending a fortune on ads or suffering from burnout. Simply check out the show notes of the podcast episode for the link to register for your free spot in the LinkedIn Lead Gen Masterclass. And don't worry, even if you miss a couple of days or you can't make it to all the training sessions, we'll deliver the replays directly into your inbox daily so you can watch them on your own time. All you have to do is make sure you sign up for the masterclass before registration ends. So it's like getting into the brain of your buyer persona and like why that website would bring value to them. Because when we just say personal brand, a lot of people don't know what that means, especially in employees of corporate America.
Yeah. And that's why I was trying to do education. But I like what you're saying because essentially you can only talk about personal branding so much. But then you're now taking it and specifically showing them how that would be in their everyday life that they could then pivot with that. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. And then also with as far as LinkedIn and making connections with everyone or who you're going to look for, I also was starting to follow other personal branding, or actually personal branding experts, because then there's people who are already essentially focused
those are
on
consciously.
Yes.
They're
yeah,
aware.
Consciously.
And they're easier to sell.
Yeah. And then essentially, because I thought that since I'm not trying to sell the services of taking someone and completely building a whole personal brand for them, but more the web design side, even though I've studied what it takes to have a website to express that. Mm-hmm. I don't have the service side of trying to coach someone. So then I thought, well, maybe I should start approaching coaches who are doing personal branding. And then also just other coaches who are working with people to achieve something. And clearly, if they're going to a coach, they're trying to essentially transform. So I thought that's another thing.
I think that when it comes to opportunity, it's limitless in the online coaching space. If you're really trying to get up and running in your business, I think there's a significant sexy novelty of you doing it for employees. But because it's sexy and it's novel, it's also, there's this learning gap of, and I love what you're doing, but there's like this learning gap of creating the unconsciously incompetent, consciously competent to be interested in buying your services.
Yes.
The faster buy and the faster turn to revenue is going to be the online and in the coaching space where people absolutely already know that personal branding is so important. They maybe just haven't invested in it yet.
Yes. And it could be like an addition to what they're already doing because, okay, great. Awesome.
Thanks, guys, so much for listening in on today's podcast episode. And I can't wait for you to see my upcoming guest in the next episode. You are going to love this keynote speaker. Hey, here's the deal. If you liked this, please subscribe and leave a review. And you want the latest online business growth strategies and exclusive LinkedIn pro tips sent straight to your phone? Text the word update to 704-318-2285. That is, text the word update to 704-318-2285. Can't wait to see you guys. Come find me over on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you like to hang. I cannot wait to hear how you are enjoying and applying what you're learning. You guys reach out to me over on social because I love hearing what's resonating with you. When you reach out to me and you send me those personal DMs, they really do impact the content I continue to bring forward to you. So again, come find me, Melissa_Henault over on Instagram, Melissa Henault over on LinkedIn and Facebook. Can't wait to see you guys over there.